growing number of Republican senators are criticizing Fox News for one of its primetime shows showing select footage from the January 6th insurrection provided by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. That show tried to portray the deadly riot as peaceful, calling the insurrectionists, quote, sightseers, and that lawmakers who suggested otherwise had lied to the American public, even alleging some Capitol Police officers helped the insurrectionists. In a letter obtained by NBC News, Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger called the allegations that the officers helped any of the insurrectionists false and ripped Fox News for spreading, quote, offensive and misleading conclusions. Manger writes in part, quote, the program conveniently cherry-picked from the calmer moments of our 41,000 hours of video. The commentary fails to provide context about the chaos and violence that happened before or during these less tense moments. He continued, quote, the most disturbing accusation from last night was that our late friend and colleague Brian Sicknick's death had nothing to do with his heroic actions on January 6th. The department maintains, as anyone with common sense would, that had Officer Sicknick not fought valiantly for hours on the day he was violently assaulted, Officer Sicknick would not have died the next day, end quote. You'll remember the 42-year-old Sicknick died of natural causes after the attack on January 6th. Washington's chief medical examiner said what happened during the attack played a role in his death. More than 150 officers from a number of agencies suffered injuries on January 6th. A bipartisan Senate report found at least 7 people, including 3 police officers, died in connection with the attack that day. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell reacted at a news conference yesterday following the release of Chief Manger's letter.
With regard to the presentation on Fox News last night, I want to associate myself entirely with the opinion of the chief of the Capitol Police about what happened on January 6th. My concern is how it was depicted, which is a different issue. Clearly, the chief of the Capitol Police, in my view, correctly describes what most of us witnessed firsthand on January 6th. So that's my reaction to it. It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official here at the Capitol thinks.
And it wasn't just Leader McConnell. A handful of other Republican senators criticized the move as well.
I think it's bull. When you see police barricades breached, when you see police officers assaulted, all of that, or you had to be in close proximity to it. If you were just a tourist, you should have probably lined up at the visitor center and came in on an orderly basis. So I just don't think it's helpful.
I think that breaking through glass windows and doors to get into the United States Capitol against orders of police is a crime. I think particularly when you come into the chambers, when you start opening members' desks, when you stand up in their balcony, to somehow put that in the same category as a permitted peaceful protest is just a lie.
It's really sad to see Tucker Carlson go off the rails that bad. The American people saw what happened on January 6th. They've seen the people that got injured. They saw the damage to the building. You can't hide the truth by selectively picking a few minutes out of tapes and saying this is what went on. It's so absurd. It's nonsense. Clearly placating the base of my party is not the right way forward for the Republican Party or for the country.
I think what happened on January 6th was despicable. In America, you can believe what you want, but you can't act on it in a way that constitutes violence.
Well, I mean, I think it was, it was an attack on the Capitol.
So in order there, it was Thom Tillis, Kevin Cramer, Mitt Romney, John Kennedy, and John Thune, all criticizing Fox News. As for Speaker McCarthy, he says he does not regret sharing the January 6 footage with Fox News, arguing the decision was made, he says, for transparency. Former President Trump, as you might imagine, also weighed in, posting on his social media site, praising Fox News, blasting the January 6 committee, And yes, calling for the rioters arrested on January 6th to be released from prison, Joe.
So there you go. Again, promoting violence and praising those who committed violence against cops. This is once again the abandonment of the blue. It's once again the abandonment of police officers. And Michael Steele, you can't say the Republican Party. This is a segment of the Republican Party in the House, especially that are trying to grant absolution by lying about those people, those rioters that beat the hell out of police officers. How many police officers were savagely attacked on this day? The injuries lined up. So what an insult. But again, I almost hate to bring politics up here because this is such a serious breach by Kevin McCarthy to release security footage. It's outrageous, and it's dangerous, and all of this encourages the next attack. But just politically, just for 1 second, Americans aren't going to back a faction of a party that support violence against police officers. Americans aren't going to support a faction of a party that support riots on January the 6th and the overturning of a peaceful presidential election. And for Kevin McCarthy to think anything less than that, it's outrageous. So Michael, what is the fallout of this eventually?
So I would disagree with you, Joe. Americans have backed an insurrectionist party. They reelected them to power in November. So, this is what I was certainly among many warning about going into the 2022 election cycle. If Kevin McCarthy is not Speaker of the House, he's not beholden to Marjorie Taylor Greene and this faction in a way that these clips would never be released. That's the consequence of our voting. People into power who are anti-democratic, who are narcissistic, very much like Trump in the sense that their own self-interest is the prevailing interest. So I agree with you that you would think on paper the American people wouldn't do this. But when you then layer on top of this in the upcoming election cycle, any downturn in the economy, a tick up in gas prices or inflation or some other event, this issue gets suppressed. That's what these folks are counting on. That's their base bet. Is that at the end of the day, when we get into this thing, Donald Trump is railing against the system. We can also talk about the failed, policies at the border, which will be a huge issue. And a lot of these folks out here will go, that's more important than the fear or concern I have about putting these people back in power. Because once they get back in power, I don't. Where is the border policy? Where's the healthcare policy? Where's the transportation policy? It's not there. But you know what is? Giving Tucker Carlson what he wants, giving him an exclusive, anti-democratic. Oh, we're going to drill down on the weaponization of government. I mean, so this is what we're getting here. So let's stop pretending that you're going to get anything different. Because when you give the power back to the people that fomented insurrection, what the hell do you think you're going to get the next day? More of that.